Today, I'm reporting on the early courtroom phase of United States versus Sean Diddy Combs as if I were a journalist covering the proceedings. This is a high-profile case involving Sean Diddy Combs, and my goal is not to just report what's happening, but to explain the legal and ethical limits that can shape what journalists can and what they cannot say. This report focuses specifically on the stage before witness testimony begins, when legal arguments and courtroom procedures are being established. The case involves serious allegations that have received national attention. However, as a journalist, I must clearly state that these are all allegations. Under U.S. law, the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and my reporting must reflect that standard at all times. As a journalist, I must apply key legal principles when reporting on this case. The First Amendment gives me the right to report information to the public. This allows transparency in the justice system. However, this right is limited by the Sixth Amendment, which guarantees the defendants an impartial jury. This means I cannot present information in a way that suggests guilt or can influence potential jurors. For example, I must avoid emotionally charged language or speculation. Another legal factor is courtroom access. Judges may restrict camera or public access during sensitive testimony. This is legal and intended to protect witness and ensure fairness. If that happens, my role is to explain the restriction, not to criticize or speculate about it. There is also the issue of defamation. If I report false information or present allegations as facts, I could be legally liable. That is why I must rely on verified sources and clearly attribute information. Finally, privacy laws may protect alleged victims. In those cases, I must avoid revealing identities or personal details unless legally permitted to. Beyond legal requirements, ethical responsibility plays a major role in how I report this case. According to the Society of Professional Journalists, journalists must seek truth and minimize them. This means I should avoid including graphic or unnecessary details, especially when discussing alleged victims. Another ethical concern is sensationalism. High-profile cases often attract attention, but exaggerating details or using dramatic language can mislead audiences. As a journalist, I must prioritize accuracy over engagement. I also have a duty to remain neutral. Even if a public opinion is strong, I cannot present bias or assume guilt. Additionally, when using anonymous sources, I must protect their identity unless the disclosure is required by law. This maintains trust and ensures safety. These ethical standards guide not just what I report, but how I report it as well. In practice, responsible reporting means careful decisions. For example, if courtroom cameras are restricted during testimony, I would explain that this is a legal decision made to protect the fairness on the trial. I would only report information confirmed through court proceedings or reliable sources. I would clearly distinguish between facts, allegations, and opinion to avoid misleading the audience. I would also avoid reporting unverified claims from social media, even if they are widely shared. These choices ensure that my reporting supports both public understanding and the integrity of the legal process. This case demonstrates that journalism is not only about informing the public, it is about doing so responsibly. By balancing legal obligations with ethical judgment, journalists play a critical role in protecting both public awareness and the fairness of the justice system.